Is it not working? You literally add it underneath on OBS, like you're already in scene one, and then underneath where you can just come over the top of it in a minute, start introducing the show, and I'll bring it down. Are you kidding me? All right, well let's just cancel it. Okay, I'm pissed. Guys, I was trying to play the theme song. Okay, leave me the fuck. For the game show.
There we go.
Okay, now we have video but no audio. These people, dude, they're relying on you.
Well, you had me doing extra stuff while the show was already about to start.
You know what? I did. That is true. It is my fault, everybody. I was asking him to play our theme song as an intro since we don't have an intro. And as you can all see, that went stellarly.
As well as we expected.
Stellarly. Hold on. I want to see if I can game show audios up too. So they could hear that, which is weird. Okay, so let's go to the theme, has attachments. Let me see if I can find all set now. Okay, what up, guys? Give me 1 second.
Hello.
I just want to see if this will work real quick.
On the season finale.
Oops. Yeah.
Announcer man's here?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Announcer man, thanks for hanging out. Dude, this is all a big clusterfuck. Dude, I don't know what's going on. I can't find fucking anything. This is the intro. Oh, dude, I don't know what's going on. You know what? Just screw it. Just go. Do your thing.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to today on Conversations with Chris. I almost messed up the title already. We take a deep dive into the psychology of the philosopher, the incredibly intelligent and well-spoken Predator Alex, who is actually none of those things.
I was about to say, that's being a little nice.
It's being extremely nice.
Yeah, that's a little too much.
So today we find out many things. We talked to Chris to find out what was going through his head, or rather how many brain cells he was losing while talking. And we also find out Predator Alex's real name.
His real name.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us today. This is the 4th episode of Conversations with Chris. As I said, we're taking a deep dive into what was going on during catch number 4 with Alex, a.k.a. Brisk, a.k.a. To Be Announced.
Ooh. Unless you're dirty.
Yeah.
You may have already found it, if you know what you're doing. You could have already seen it. I'm just saying.
These things are all true.
If there's a place where I already put it in. Because SEO. I was like, fuck it. If people Google him, I want it to come up, guy. Anyway, all right, start the episode. Do whatever you're gonna do. I'm just
Oh,
here to chill.
I gotcha. Let me see. I was trying to see if I was never able to create the scene with the little slide things, but I'll figure it out. All right.
You'll figure it
You know, it won't look great, but it'll be there.
out.
So, as the show goes on, it'll get better. Trust me.
Yes.
All right. So, this. Let me get all my questions up in order, ready to go. All right. This catch
We're
took
professionals.
real professional.
Yeah, we're professionals. Yeah.
All right. So, interesting thing about this catch is, as stated in the video, this catch took place very late at night. Actually, I believe we left for the catch, like you texted me saying, "Hey, we got one. Let's go," at 12 o'clock at night. So this catch,
Jeez.
yeah, this catch took place 12 o'clock at night, which definitely was not the last time that was gonna happen,
No.
and still happens regularly, much to my wife's chagrin. But
Yeah.
this kind of illustrated though for us, I feel like, and cemented as especially as time went on, that to do this we kind of had to be on call 24/7. And so
Yeah.
we like you've discussed with everybody in the team that like there might be catches not ever somebody can't go on, and that has to be like we have to be okay with that. Of course,
Yeah.
there will never be a solo catch, never just one person. That's too dangerous.
No.
But how did you feel? Like I feel like this was the catch where we first really realized like, oh man, this is a 24-hour gig that we're doing here.
Yeah. I mean, Diego was like 11, and then DJ was like 10, and then Ryan was like 9, and then all of a sudden Alex is like after midnight. And it was just, we started using the term predator time.
Mhm.
We're on predator time, man. When a child predator is ready to meet, if we're able to do it, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't like to put stuff off. We put off a few in the past, and some of those haven't come to fruition. What's interesting, a lot of people don't know this, is right around this time is when we got no-showed by episode 8. He no-showed us, and then we went and caught him a week later. Dylan Parrish. So he no-shows us like this week as well. So this week was pretty busy. This was the first week we caught 5 people in the first week. This was all within the first week of us doing MDF. The first 5, all within less like a week, which is pretty nuts if you really think about it. So this has happened like the next night after Ryan, or maybe 2 nights later max. And this was Alex Brisk, one of the only person we didn't ever get a real name for, or a real phone number for, or something of that manner. What's interesting is that Jen from episode 3 wanted to come to this catch with us, but she thought he looked too scary in his pictures, and she decided she wanted to come.
She did, which I mean is fair. In his pictures, he looked rather fit until we arrived on scene and we walked up to him.
Yeah,
we're like, as we looked down at him.
That's not what happened. We were sitting at the tables having coffee for a while. I walked outside to vape while I was watching for the guy to come in. You've got it backwards. We were waiting there for a while.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like we were waiting at the tables. I didn't see him until we walked up to him. Because remember, I'm sitting there watching you, waiting for you to give me the signal, so I'm not being.
Well, I came in right behind him. Or then I came over to you and was like, he's right there.
So from my point of view, when I stood up to go turn and face him, and I realized who it was, you were like, "Hey, here it is." My eye went. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. It's also the first time a random coworker of ours just showed up.
Yeah.
Just showed up. Yep. And then just left. It was weird.
he was just hanging out in the parking lot. I'm like, "Hey, what's
yeah, he showed up. He's like, "Y'all good?" We're like, "Yeah." He was like, "All right." And then he left. All right. Yeah. So this was an interesting one. Old Brisky boy.
So speaking of the engagement, though, when we first initiated the catch, there was a really good shot in the video that I don't think we fully grasped until editing it later, like you saw it obviously, and then highlighted it, where we got the reactions of all the patrons of the establishment. Needless to say, they were shocked and a bit stunned. How did you feel like realizing like all these people and their immediate reaction to what was going on? Like, what do you think was going through their head?
It's actually interesting. This is the first time that happened. This was the first time where people were within earshot of us really stopping a guy. Because when we stopped Ryan last week, there was nobody at the self-checkout. So this was the first time there were people around, and he was literally in the middle of ordering exactly what I asked for.
Yep.
But you're right, because we were holding the phones down by our side, I was able to see reactions of people. And I think I slow-moed it for the video, dude. Like,
you did.
people were just like staring in utter disbelief as I'm like, "You here to meet this kid?"
There were a
Oh
few
yeah,
mouths open. Like people were like,
yeah, yeah. And I've been in stage performances and other things like that. So speaking in front of people is not a problem for me. So I wasn't nervous about it at all. In fact, that's probably one of the least nervous I've been. When you've got a bigger crowd, to me, I'm less nervous because once the crowd knows what's going on, they're going to side with you most of the time because of what we're doing, the nature of the catch. So we haven't really experienced too much of the alternative to that. And if you remember, you can go watch season 2. The second catch of season 2, live catch, or the first episode of season 2, is the only time we've really ran into somebody who was like not okay with what we're doing, but that's because he didn't understand.
yeah, it's not so much he wasn't okay with what we're doing. He was just
Yeah,
in another world, so he didn't know what was happening.
Dude, that guy was on another planet for
Yeah,
sure.
he really was.
So I enjoyed when I was going back through the edit, seeing their reactions as just utter shock. It was great. I liked it. It was good.
So another thing, so after all that happens, we confront him, take him outside, inform the staff like, "Hey, you're good. You're good to call the cops. We don't mind if they're here. He does, but we don't mind."
Nope.
One thing very important to mention is a question was asked by our dear Panther, asking how much we tipped the waitress who had to stay there for a long time watching us.
Well, she didn't have to stay out there. She chose to stay out
Okay,
there.
who got to stay out there and enjoy the show live?
I believe I gave her $10 on top of our Starbucks coffee, or off our coffees. We just had a coffee each or something, and I'm pretty sure I dropped her a 10 on top.
Yep, 2 5s. I remember.
Yeah, and it was because I already knew that we were going to be creating a ruckus.
Yep.
And so I went ahead and tipped her bigger. Yeah. I think she's the one that came into the comments specifically on the episode 6 when we got kicked out of Waffle House. I think she's the one that came in the comments going like, I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
There was somebody like that, and she didn't have a problem with it that night. And she pretty much stood there confirming the shit I asked, and that was it. And she got to watch it,
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. Something that may not have been conveyed fully in the episode is every time you turned to her and said anything, which was like maybe 3 times, 2 or 3. Every time you did, she like was stunned for a second. She's like, "Oh right, I'm here. This is actually happening."
Yeah, yeah. Hey, this is happening next to you. Just to let you know. Can you come back to Earth and just talk with us for a little bit? Yeah, if I would have had more wherewithal early in the game like that, I probably would have done a little bit more interview style with her afterward.
Yeah.
But I believe I went back in and apologized at the end of the night.
Yeah, you did.
So after he left, I did go back in and apologize to the entire staff for causing a scene.
You even apologized to some patrons as they left the building.
Ridiculous. Yeah, because I don't mean to disrupt their meal, but I can't let this pedophile have free reign.
I'm sure if they were given the option, making an eggs in silence or stopping a child predator.
Dog, it's Waffle House. That wasn't even the most excited thing that happened within that hour, I'm sure.
Fair.
Like, it's fucking Waffle House on a Friday or Saturday night or some shit.
Yeah,
that place. Yeah, I don't remember what day of the week it was, but yeah, I used to hang out there often at Waffle House having coffee. Always something crazy.
So speaking of when we took him outside and began the interview, Predator Alex, multiple times, but really at the beginning was where it was before we had become numb to it, tried to deny that it's him we were there to meet and that it's him that we were catching, while staring at a picture of his own face.
Yeah.
It's like looking in a mirror and being like, nah, that ain't right. That thing's broken.
If I remember, he said, I've got short hair.
Yeah, he tried to point out the hair difference. Going, oh, okay,
Yeah.
here's a picture of your hair now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said, oh, well, I have short hair. That's not me. And I'm
Which, I mean, we've had plenty of denial while doing this, but, that was impressive. His level of denial, not in how effective it was, but just in the frequency of it, was impressive.
If I remember correctly, the weirdest thing was that he kept denying and admitting.
Oh,
denying
yeah.
and admitting.
Going
denying
back
and
and
admitting.
forth, back and forth.
Yeah, the whole time. It's like, bro, you can't even get your own story straight.
Absolutely.
Dude, that guy was in a world.
Yeah, not ours.
No,
or one
in
that
a
made
world.
sense.
When he was
in a world.
Yeah, that's where he was. We were in reality. He was not there.
Speaking of which, So during the interview, while Predator Alex's story was flip-flopping more than the pancakes waffle doesn't have for some reason, he says it's hard to find girls his own age, which for most of the other Predators, I would agree. For them, it's probably pretty hard. But for Alex, maybe not so much.
Yeah, you complimented him while we were there.
I
You
mean,
basically said he was a handsome looking dude. Like, what's your problem? Which you're not wrong. Like, he's definitely not the guy you look at and go, oh, that guy's a child predator.
yeah. So
Like some people have the look. He
Mhm.
doesn't have that look.
So during that, when he said that, do you think for him, for whatever reason, maybe it's because he has the IQ of 7, that he actually does have trouble finding girls his own age, because he more mentally identifies as a child, or do you think that was just an excuse?
I think everything that came out of his mouth was either an excuse or a lie. Except for the times he admitted that was him. You know, the very few times that he actually admitted like what we were talking about. You know, he kept trying to say like, well, I didn't say those things. All right, but did you type them? Yeah, but it's not saying it. Okay, but you typed them. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a thread line.
Oh no, he said that more than once.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a thread line. So, you know, whether he has problem meeting girls or not, I'm not sure. But I would hearken it up to the same philosophy that we've kind of been passing around these later episodes, that, you know, a lack of good men in their life, teaching them how to be men. You know, this baby mentality, this everybody wins shit. Because really the truth is the name that I have could be his dad's name. Maybe the car's registered in his dad. I don't know.
Close enough to his name though that I feel like it's safe, unless he's named after his dad.
I mean, yeah. So who knows, man? And that's actually an update for Diego I've got for you. We didn't know Diego's last name either. And we still kind of don't, but I finally got his registration is registered to a lady, and I believe it's his mom.
Ah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking that about Javier. So how did we get Javier's real name? Oh, well, oops.
Well, actually, there's part of it.
Yeah, you just go ahead and post the pre-reveal. Let's just go and knock this one out, since I just accidentally put the cart before the horse on the first name there.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and put that image up. I don't know if they'll be able to hear us anymore, but here we go, guys. It's time to finally tell you the name of Alex Brisk, so I can start calling him by his real predator name.
Dun, dun, it's not going away.
If it doesn't work, whatever. It's silly.
Hold on.
Just pop it up over the screen or something. I don't know. We're professionals. I'm not watching the thread.
Oh, what's there? It's there. You can
the pre-reveal or the full reveal?
The full reveal. That was the.
Oh, okay, there you go.
There you go. That's Alexander Neto Valderez.
Nieto, I believe.
Nieto.
Hold on, let me look. As we would say it in my native tongue, Javier Alejandro Nieto Valderez. That is his real name, or that's the name of whoever the car is registered to. But see Alejandro in the middle?
Yeah.
He's Alex.
He's Alex.
That's our guy.
That's our guy.
How did we get it? How did we get Diego's name, or at least the mom? We've been working with a detective with the Greensboro Police Department, and we have some exciting, also still troublesome and trivial. There's still some red tape that we're going to have to continue to go through. But we have a way kind of around it right now, a little loophole that our detective is going to be trying to accomplish. We're going to try to scoop whoop past some of this shit, and make something happen. And if that happens, we're hoping that catalysts itself into more happenings. So that's exciting. At the same time, I had a meeting with Guilford County Sheriff's Department this Wednesday, where we sat down, myself, a lieutenant with the Special Operations Unit, and the only detective they have that works in the ICAC department, which is the Internet Crimes Against Children. They literally have one. And he's leaving that post in 30 days. And they do not have a replacement. So their concern is starting these operations, and they literally won't have anybody working their ICAC division at all, which is fucking sad. Guilford County ain't small. That ain't a small county. No. And so you're going to literally not have an ICAC agent. That's pretty bad. I got to talking about them. They actually used to do stings like this. They used to do Chris Hansen style stings.
But it's been a while.
For child predators. Yeah. They had an operation. I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't know if it's public knowledge, but they told me the name of that operation. And they ceased operations of that in 2013-14. That's the last time they made a catch like we do. That's almost 10 years. It's a long fucking time. And it's tragic. And I'm not sure if it's a defund the police movement across the country that's causing this. I'm not sure if it's people don't want to do the job. I sure as hell don't. And I told him that. I said, look, I can't pass the PT test. So,
Now
no,
that
thank you.
is you mentioned the defunding thing. That is actually a conversation I had with my wife recently, where I was talking about it like this whole defund the police movement thing, as ridiculous as it is. Um, if you think about it logically, if the police, which has happened in quite a few areas, if the police really do get defunded, the first place they're going to get hit are not the pockets of the police officers out there giving you tickets. The first places
No,
they're going to get hit are the places that aren't in the limelight, the places that the the police department feels like they can cut and no one will notice, or
not just that.
it
Just
won't
the people that
hurt.
make more money.
Yeah, and it won't hurt the ones that like the current stat, like because if you think about it, police officers, they're like city security guards. Their job is to keep the status quo and to make sure stuff doesn't break out. So they're gonna try to hold on to the people keeping the order as long as possible and slowly cut the people in the background, the people that they think won't be missed as much, that it won't make such a big deal. And
Right. Well,
ICAC
plus
department,
detectives that do this kind of work make more money.
yeah,
And so it's easier to cut into that budget by getting rid of one of these guys than 2 patrol guys.
yeah,
But that's sad. It's
absolutely.
fucking sad. It's sad that the defund the police, the part that people don't think about is when you're asking to get rid of beat cops because some of them have accidentally killed somebody in the line of duty, that is not the same as literally detectives that are trying to protect children or drug bust or, insert other shit that's bad. Those are the people getting defunded.
hmm
And that sucks, man. The fact that Guilford County, one of the biggest counties in our state, is about to have zero ICAC presence is fucking sad. It's sad, dude. And
Yeah,
so I think that really says they need us more than they ever have, and they just don't know it yet.
I'd agree.
You know what I mean? And so we've got some happy detectives in the Greensboro Police Department who are trying to push with us. They're trying to make it work with us. See, here's the concern I was told. I actually was told this, that the detective that's on our side, who is a fan of the show, who has seen our operations, who I've sent probably 20 chat logs to, he told me, you guys are doing this so amazingly. He literally said, you guys are the best at what you do. He said that. I sent the text out to the whole team. I was so happy to see that text. You remember that?
Yep.
But he told me that these other sheriffs that he's talking to, these other detectives, are concerned because they haven't looked at our chat logs. So they're assuming that we're doing stuff like sending a risque picture and then telling them our age, which we're not. In fact, risque pictures is something we don't send at all anymore. I used to get a little on the line, but I haven't sent one even on the line in forever.
Yeah.
I use excuses, but the point is that this detective said, dude, your guys' operation is fucking smooth. Your chat logs are fucking great. Everything you're doing. He's like, okay, so we're going to go after one of the guys we've caught before, who also has a record with other things. He's a frequent flyer, as it was said to me. He's going to get a warrant on him for the other shit and then let us catch him and then arrest him and then go, oh, we got him on the shit that you had a warrant for. And also here's a Predator package. Here's a nice little present of Predator. Here you go. And he's hoping that by doing that loophole, it will encourage them to look through the chat logs and go, oh, these guys are doing it right. And then hopefully we'll have a working relationship with them. So that's we're in the middle of literally, it's a multi-front fight of trying to get somebody with LE to work with us. We've got a guy who wants to more than anything. So now it's how does he get through the red tape of his superiors? That's what we're working on right now. And that's kind of why we've been a little quiet, man. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. It's a lot.
Yeah, I even had to cover a shift at work for Chris so he could go have like a few hour conversation with the detectives.
With the detectives, yeah. And I have court this Wednesday with Thomas DeBona. And that's an all-day affair starting at 9 a.m. And it's a special session. We're the only people in the courtroom that day. That's how serious this shit is. And so anyway, that's why we've been a little quiet. Javier, that's how we got his real name. That's how we got Diego's, at least his mom's name.
Yeah.
And I still haven't found Diego based off that name. Can't find a social media or anything. I might just email him. Be like, hey, Diego, for my records, I need your whole name. He's dumb enough to give it to me.
Yeah, he might. I wonder
He
if
might
you
just give it
I wonder
to
if you
me.
could just get him to send you a picture of his ID. Like, hey,
I bet you he would. I'd be like, hey, man, I'm working on my scrapbook for the MDF. Let me see a picture of your license real quick. Or I can just ask my friend who's a detective. Your choice.
You know, he
Maybe I
probably would.
should do.
He
He
probably
probably
would.
will. Maybe I should just do that.
I'm sure on scene, if we had thought about this then, if we had asked
Oh
him,
yeah.
he would have just been like, "Yeah, here."
Well, we didn't think about it back then,
Yeah. It was later brought up that we should start doing that.
and we have a
Yeah.
few times, and that's how we got Cody's full name.
Yep.
Yeah, and John Jewel.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we've done it. Okay. So sorry about the little deviation there. I kind of want to explain to you guys how we got how we got Alex Brisk's real name, and kind of talk about why you haven't seen any live catches in a while. But don't you worry, shit's about to pick up again.
Mhm.
Now that we know the score, now we're going to start playing the game.
Yep.
So, what else you got for me on Brisk?
All right. So that actually covered one of my questions. One of my questions was, we now know his real name. Talk about how he figured it out. Just ran right through that. All right. So
And weren't you on the phone when I was talking to that detective?
I was.
And
Yeah.
I said, okay, so he was sitting near me, and I'm talking to the detective, and like we're getting this good news. Like this guy wants to work with us. He's a fan of the show. And I text him Brisk's license plate picture. This
Yeah.
is why we take the pictures of these license plates.
And just
This
kept
is why we-
talking.
This is why we videotape it in the videos. I sent him the license plate. Within 30 seconds, he texts me back a full name.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that quick, like that. And it was like, dude, this is what we've been waiting for right here. This is why we get the license plates. Now we've connected it to this, that, the fourth. Now it's all connected and we know who he is. Javier. Ain't no hiding, buddy.
Nope.
So here's another fun story you don't know. So I found somebody who's a cousin of his. And I
Oh.
found it because I found his name, found out who he was, looked at people that he knew. I found a cousin. Confirmed cousin, by the way. And I went to that guy's Facebook. He lives in California. And I commented on an open status because messages, when they're unknown, they won't read them. And I go, hey, man, if I showed you a picture, would you confirm that this is your family member? And he goes, no. And I was like, well, I already know his real name. I already know it's him. I just wanted you to know that he's a child predator, and he blocked me. Which was such a weird reaction, man. It's very strange. I don't know. I don't think the chat's updating, dude. I haven't seen chat in a while.
Oh, I've been watching it. Panther just said something. I don't know if you saw it.
I haven't seen anything in a while.
Yeah. I've just been trying to keep track of questions that get asked so we can answer them towards the end.
The last thing I'd seen was the handsome. So apparently there is more.
Yeah, that's been a while.
Somebody said, Freeze, how come you didn't serve, bro? Can you be more
I think he means
specific?
in the military.
I was going to. I was actually going to serve in the military, and some situations happened. I just separated my shoulder a few times playing football, and I was dating my future wife, now ex-wife, and I wanted to go into linguistics. I scored in the 90, I think it was like 93 on the ASVAB, and I wanted to go do Arabic in California, but it's a year and a half of AIT on a language, Arabic specific. No, I had live chat on Panther. It just wasn't updating because I have it popped out. And I just decided not to go. But I was going to. There's another little bit about it. I was working out every morning before school, so like 5 a.m. at the Armory in Winston. And then spring break comes. I come back from spring break and my recruiter's gone. He left for EOD school, didn't tell me. And none of the other recruiters wanted to wake up in the morning to work out with me to help me lose the rest of the weight. And so my feeling was, if you're going to leave me hanging and I have not signed a contract yet, how bad are you going to leave me hanging once I have?
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially back then when they were paying buku bonus monies to sign you. Like it was like everything. 2006 when I graduated high school, dog, we're in the middle of a fucking war. Everybody was joining. And yeah, they left me hanging just like that. So I said, well, I don't want a lifetime of this. So I didn't go. That's the reason I didn't serve. I almost did.
Ironically, I also almost served. I think I've told you the story, but when I was 18, I was homeschooled, so there wasn't like no recruiter to school or anything. But
Right.
this was during the time when I was like doing MMA and everything, and I was legitimately going to, like, that was the plan. I even like had an idea I was going to go into the army and try to start
Mustang?
as I was gonna try to shoot. I know
OCS?
it's like a special ops, you have to get promoted, but I was trying to go for Green Berets. Like that was the end goal.
Oh yeah, that's totally different. Mustang is when you join an army and you switch to Marines.
No.
OCS is obviously Officer Candidate School.
Yeah.
I was an RTC for 4 years, but go ahead.
Yeah. So literally, I tried to, because in the mall where I lived, there were 3 different recruiters in the same spot. One for the Army, one for the Air Force, one for the Navy.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
So they were just like all right there. I went on a Wednesday in the middle of the day. I want to say it was like 2 o'clock, something like that, and they were all closed with not a soul there. All the doors were locked, and I was like, "What is happening here?" Like, it's such a weird time of day for all of them to be close together. I even went online to figure it out. I was like, "Are there any others around?" There were none around.
Wow.
Absolutely none. I was like, "Can I? Like, is there a clearer sign than this that I shouldn't?" I was also at the time dating my now wife, who when she would like because I was 18, and she absolutely did not want me to go,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
What were her reservations though?
she was worried I was gonna die because literally, I mean, what I was going for would have been Army, which has a good chance of me going towards infantry, and then like focusing on math and everything and like logistics to get to Green Berets, which often end up in enemy lines because they're
Well,
special ops.
here's the good news about you. You're 22 or 24.
24.
You've got plenty of time. You could rejoin right now. You could join right now. I'm just saying, you could. It's not too late for you. I would advise getting a degree first so you can go and go through OCS. Sorry, my phone is blowing up as you can
It
hear.
is.
You can go be a butter bar. You can go through, get your 4 degrees, do RTC while you're in college, come out as a second lieutenant. You're probably more of an officer candidate anyway. Even though you have a bad procrastination problem, the Army will fix that real quick.
Oh, I'm sure.
Remember, I'm an Army brat. I grew up around the world as a military kid. I was born in another country because of it. Joined RTC, was really about that life. You know, just circumstances happened my senior year that led to me not joining. All my friends did, but I did not. I don't live with regrets, so I don't regret that I didn't. I think it would have been fun. About 6 years ago, they raised the age again, and I was only 26, 27, whatever. Maybe 28. They raised the age to like 30 something. And I was like, what if I got into shape now? Because they have administration and marketing departments.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
went back and just did that with the Army because I have this resume now from building businesses. So I was strongly considering it then. This is just before COVID. Like 4 years ago, I was watching boot camp videos and all kinds of shit, man. And I was like, God damn, dude. I really wish I would have been part of that brotherhood. I'm an Eagle Scout, but I'm not an I'm not an Army guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I would have done really well in the service. Probably would have helped me with a lot of my fucking bad habits, but and procrastination.
Yeah.
Which I don't have that bad of a problem. I just don't like to wake up in the mornings. So what's stopping you from doing it now?
I have no more desire.
You don't even have a desire to do
Nope.
it.
So like I said, I really wanted to when I was young because I literally like I was the kid. So as you know, my procrastination is somewhat of an adult problem. I didn't have it when I was younger. But when I was younger, I had my whole life planned out. Like I literally had a step-by-step plan of where I was going.
Yeah.
Not going to the Army was really the first wrench that got thrown in that. But the thing is, like now I'm married, and now like I have a house and everything. And well, I know if like I went to the Army, I could still provide for my wife. All that stuff would be fine. I have like the idea of doing that and being gone for a long time and leaving her by herself, despite like I would be
Okay.
very proud to do it or something like that.
Sure.
It doesn't at all outweigh it. Like
So let's
time I
pause
would
on that.
Yeah.
Let's pause on that. Boot camp is 8 to 9 weeks if you go National Guard.
Mhm.
AIT for an MP3, for example, a 35 Bravo or somewhere in that range, it was only like 8 to 9 weeks. Plus you get R&R between them. National Guard goes 1 week in a month and 2 weeks out of the summer. That's it. You could do National Guard if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but
you would not be gone. You would keep a regular job
Mhm.
with veterans benefits and get school paid for still. I'm just saying, there's a way you can do it where you're not leaving your wife.
Well, no,
long periods of time.
there absolutely are. Like I'm fully aware there.
We're not really in a wartime right now where everybody's deploying.
Yeah. So the thing is like while I'm aware, like I know that I don't know all the details of it, but I know there are plenty of ways to do it, like to enlist and be in the force without having to be gone a long time.
Right now you're in the minor defense force.
No. But the problem is if I don't want to do something, like I have trouble doing things I want to do. Like I have trouble getting started. But if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. So if
Right.
it's not if it's not the army or like the branch or the thing that I wanted to do, I have no
Yeah.
interest in doing it at all. Um,
Sure.
and the ones that I would want to do are the ones that would like, because I mean, if I did Air Force, which was like a second option that I was really thinking about because my granddad was in
Especially
the Air
with
Force,
with intellect, that's the
yeah,
best. That or
like
Navy.
I might be traveling a lot, but my wife would come with me type thing. Like that's fine, but I don't even really want to do that anymore.
Well, that'd
Um,
be if you get stationed somewhere else. She
yeah,
would come with you.
yeah,
But here's the thing, man. When you're married in the military, you get paid buku money. Plus, they give you housing. So if you don't have to live on base, you're getting money for housing. So you guys wouldn't even have to worry about that shit at all. She could focus on her business. I'm not trying to tell you to leave and go join the military. What I'm trying to tell you is it's not as bad as you think as far as being away from a spouse. If you join the Navy and have to do like 6-month boat deployments, maybe. But you're the type of guy who, if you join the Navy, I have a feeling you get a pretty high ASVAB. I'd say probably in the high 80s. I don't know your math skills. And I'd say you probably would have a chance to go into something like nuclear submarine, something dope. That's what my great uncle did. Cool job. But Air Force is the easy one. So if your concern is a difficult boot camp, dude, go Air Force.
mhm.
But also Air Force and Navy focus more on the intellect, right? So that's where the thinkers go. I mean, think about it. Do we have Space Force right now? You have to join the Air Force and go to Space Force. Like, that's what I would do right now. If I was going to be in shape right now and you told me I had to join a branch, Space Force, because why not? Why not get to test like gravitational machines and all kinds of cool shit? Because a lot of people don't think about that. The Space Force isn't about fighting off aliens. It's about being prepared if something like an asteroid comes to Earth that might destroy Earth. How do we stop that? That's engineering. It's fascinating shit, man. It's fascinating shit to me.
Oh, it is.
I wish I could do space travel. That's my one fear of dying. My fear of diving isn't getting old and dying. It's missing out on the space travel that I believe humanity will get to. Thank you, science fiction novels
Yeah.
and movies, being specifically things like The Ender's Game. One of my favorite book series is as a young adult, and I reread it as an adult, and I have every copy, all of them right there.
I I remember actually had this conversation with my dad not recently. It was like a few years ago, but he always said that that Star Trek always made him so hopeful, but now we're like way past the time Star Trek was supposed to take place, and we don't have any of their stuff. And I was like, no, it's priorities. Because if you think about it, in some aspects, like the space travel and stuff, we're way behind Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars, Star Trek. But
way behind.
yeah, but in terms like communication, how our cellular devices work and our like computers and everything, we're the same, if not way more advanced. And so my thought process is it was just all about human priorities.
I don't know if that's even true, man. So, for example, calling somebody from a cell phone in an airplane is almost impossible. It's almost impossible because you're moving too fast to catch towers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're talking to somebody on a planet down below them instantly with a push of a button. Captain Spock, Lieutenant Spock here, Captain Kirk, blah, 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 blah. Fucking, what are you talking about? They're still far beyond us. It just doesn't look like their technology will advance further.
So what I mean,
but we don't have instantaneous communication from person to person, from ground to orbit. We don't have that. It's a delay. When they were fucking on the moon in the 69 and in the early 70s, I'm pretty sure it was like a 7-minute delay. It's like 7 minutes to talk to the moon. These motherfuckers on Star Trek are talking to you across fucking who knows how far.
So to be fair, we don't
To be
know.
fair,
There was never really an instance where they proved there wasn't a delay, because a lot of times you see one person talking and you see the other person talking. There's no guarantee there wasn't some delay there. But my main point is at no point on their communicators were they also doing other things other than communicating. It was like the device's one job. And if you go to the military and like some of their communication device, you're plotting your response. But like the military and some of their devices, that's their only job. They're a lot better at it than cell phones are. But cell phones are small computers in your pocket that do the same exact thing, if not more, than the computers on the Star Trek on like the spaceships did, where you can talk to it, it can do things for you, throw things up on screen, stuff like that. I'll let you say what you want to say because you're getting antsy.
Is it not fair to assume that they evolved past the need for that? If Neuralink is real, they were able to look up. They had computers. They could look up anybody in the Federation, all this other shit, right? They could look at that because data would just go like boop, boop, boop and start fucking getting all the information from the computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'd evolved past the need for it. They didn't have social media anymore. They've gone past social media because it was killing the whole fucking civilization. They don't even have to have jobs, dude. They're in a post-working civilization where they go up to a machine and go, Frappuccino. And it goes, there's a Frappuccino, perfect to the temperature. As we all know, Picard is a Earl's tea drinker. I don't remember the degrees, but I want to say probably 89 or 102. I don't fucking know. He had like a specific
the replicators.
degree. Correct. They were past the need to even work. So what point would they have needed social media and therefore needed a smartphone in their pocket? They just didn't need it. But I also remember hand stuff like this too, though. I remember especially doctors having little hand fucking things. So you're talking about shows that came out starting in, goddamn, what's Star Trek, the 60s, maybe earlier, maybe later. I don't remember the exact time. I didn't like the original series. I prefer Next Generation, DS9, Voyager. I even like Picard, and Discovery's okay. The point I'm trying to say is it not fair to assume that they may have evolved past the need for such petty devices? I mean, think about the groundbreaking thing of a telephone in the first place. We've evolved past it. Think about the groundbreaking discovery of the Gutenberg press and being able to make fucking books. Dog, we've evolved past that. Like, we've evolved past combustion engines. We've evolved past shit. So I think it would be fair to assume that when it comes to cell phones and what we imagine a cell phone is, they were so far past that it didn't matter. It just didn't. They didn't need it. There wasn't social media. It's over because it almost, I believe if you look at psychological trends in social media, I think the vast majority of thought-provoking people who are thinkers, psychologists, psychiatrists, what have you, would agree that social media is in part evolving society for this need for public justification and agreement, right? So the idea that might have helped, we don't know the history of that Earth, right? They haven't deep dove into what got them to the Federation, which would, by the way, be a fucking fascinating show. I know that we had Enterprise, which is about the first Starship Enterprise. We had that show starring Archer, aka the guy who played Quantum Leap. Mm-hmm. They had that show. It ran for like 2 seasons or 3, maybe. It wasn't long. Anyway, what about humanity from now to Federation? Why have we gotten that story yet? What did they have to go through to get to that? We know they're post-war, like for humanity. They're post-war within their own within humans, within the planet, right? So they're post all of these things that you and I are going, oh, we're so more advanced, but really, are we? Or do they just prove you don't need that shit? You know what I mean? I'm just posing the question to you.
Yeah. So
they're fucking traveling faster than light, dog. They're more assumed. They're more advanced than we are.
Oh yeah, no.
They figured out how to molecularly transfer a living being, which I don't even know is actually possible in physics.
Well,
I actually don't know if we'll ever get to that point.
I did read a study that there was a theory on how to do it. It's just they can't do it safely yet. It's been being tested. It was like,
I believe they will be able to replicate objects that are inanimate. I don't know if it's a tear down and rebuild. I don't know if it's the exact same molecules being transferred from place to place, or if it's just like a 3D printer that's just printing it again, making another version of it. I don't know. But I don't think being able to transfer the consciousness of human beings to their body in what way that works, I don't know if that's possible ever. It's like physiology wise. But again, we only know what we can see.
Yeah. Everything's true until it's proven wrong.
Dark matter is a theory. We theorize that everything else is dark matter. Everything else. What we see is not, what we don't see, that's dark matter. It's very theoretical. And it comes from this idea that things have mass, that things have gravity that doesn't make sense to us, to what our limited understanding is. And that's what makes me just fall in love with listening to people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Stephen Hawking. And I've had this love for space since I was a little kid, man. Like, I wanted to be an astronaut. I went to the Kennedy Space Center when I was in 3rd grade, and it fucking blew my mind. And, I love the idea of post-Earth, of us traveling the stars. I wish I could live for that. That's the one thing I want, honestly. But to get there, brains are not dark matter, they're gray matter. Try again. Sorry, I had a correct Panther who thinks he knows something. Okay, so I win. So my point is that it's safe to assume that a civilization that's traveling faster than light, that is instantly transporting over space, is so far beyond the need of a cell phone with this mega computer that's powerful in their pocket that you may think, oh, they've de-evolved, they're not as advanced, but really they're beyond it. Do you think that I don't think if we were met by an alien civilization that was able to travel, that they would have things like cell phones. They'd go like, what's a calculator? Like, what is this? I don't understand. Why do you have a TV? Because think about this, man. If you could travel the stars, the unlimited, unfathomable universe, would you really have the need to fucking sit down and watch a sitcom? I wouldn't. I'd be like, dude, what? Every experience is brand new. Everything you see is like brand new. What the fuck's the point of a sitcom? What's the point of a television? It makes no sense to me.
So
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I understand the thought process, but a few things that occurred to me during that whole thing is
the
one,
boredom of traveling. We got to do something
No.
while we're traveling.
The first thing that pops up is one thing that I never fully subscribed to is the idea, at least specifically for TV shows, of theorizing. Well, this is probably what that meant. If it's never stated, it's hard to say that's what that meant. So the idea,
Can you give me an example?
the idea of, well, they don't have cell phones, like their cell phones don't look like ours, they're not as complicated as ours because they've evolved past the need. Nothing like that was ever said in the show, so that's just an assumption on the way the show works,
I'm assuming that, yes.
which is it's a fair assumption, but not
I
necessarily.
but that wasn't their intention because cell phones didn't exist yet.
Yeah, I know, but again, it's
Okay.
a fiction show.
Okay.
But
Okay.
on the concept of like you have space travel, so what would you need to watch a sitcom? That's two opposite ends of the spectrum. Like also, what about like watching a video, like a documentary or something like that? Something informative, something educational, something
Right, you're
cell
watching
phones.
for knowledge.
Yeah, because that's like saying, but also that's like saying because you can go out and hike a trail, to bring it like down a little bit, that's like saying because you can go out and hike a trail you've never been on, see wonders, nature is amazing, you haven't seen it. A lot of people, some people have never been hiking, something like that.
Fair.
Because that potentiality is there, why on
Fair.
earth would you read a mystery novel?
That's us, but I'm saying that's actually a great question to even ask ourselves right now. I'm saying yes, I agree with that. If I have the opportunity to go hiking and I physically can go hike the Appalachian Trail,
Just
and
said, what's going on?
I wouldn't have any negative consequences. Everything would be paid for. Like I don't have to worry about bills or anything. Why would I sit at home playing a video game rather than go hike the Appalachian Trail? That's actually a great question that you're posing that I agree with. As a species, specifically first world countries, specifically right now I'm talking about Americans, right? We don't need to. And it sucks. We have 3D fucking environments we can put on a goddamn Oculus headset and walk through. It's not the same, but we can do it, right? So I agree with you. Should we be sitting here having this conversation, or should we all be out hiking somewhere, enjoying nature? The answer for humanity and for our sanity is probably to be out hiking nature.
I believe both should exist. I believe you should.
Yeah,
I believe you should do both. I believe you should experience both at some point. That was my point. My point is should it be one or the other, or should you have the device that allows you to read any book you want at any time, for the time when you're exploring a planet and it's time to hunker down for a campsite?
But here's the thing: we don't know whether or not they have that. Just because something wasn't shown doesn't mean it didn't exist, right? We literally watch them sit down at computers and see everything. Mm-hmm. They can see anything from everything from history. I don't remember which series it was where they had a dude from the past that accidentally moved to the future. So they're trying to, or a guy who went back in time. And so they're trying to like see if he left a record in history or whatever. And I might be getting that mixed up with the Orville, because that did just happen in the last season of the Orville. So the point of the matter is science fiction is both prophetic and imaginary at the same time. Mm-hmm. And if they continue the trend of 50% being prophetic and 50% being it's never going to happen because it's impossible, then I'm sad that I have to miss all of the stuff that is going to happen. Do I believe that humans will leave Earth and begin exploring the galaxy? Yes, if we don't fucking destroy ourselves first. We have the capability and the mindset and the evolving. Humanity has evolved We have the ability. We are only getting in our own way. I don't think we should be investing all this money in a fucking war between countries on one fucking planet. I think it's stupid.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to be fucking investing in going outside of this planet because we already know the sun is limited. There will be a time where that motherfucker blows up. And if we wait too long to go start terraforming Mars and all this other shit and go trying to go past that and figure out FTL, then at one point it'll be too late. There will come a point where it's too late. And I'm hoping that humanity does not get to that point. But then again, does it matter? Will it matter to you and I?
Probably not.
Probably not. No. Unless before we die, they figure out how to transfer consciousness so that you're you, because that's what makes you you. You can't clone me and that be me. Anyway, so the reason we're having this discussion, guys, is because Alex Brisk was this philosophical man-child. He was a philosophical man-child who thought he knew something about something, and he ended up not knowing nothing about nothing. And that's where I'm going with it. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's the show talking about child predators. MDF in space, I like it. It's crazy enough. I still have 2 more questions. Which actually on that subject, I am curious. Did you feel the same as me? For every time Predator Alex spoke more than 2 sentences, I could feel my IQ dropping. But there was one part where he even tried to call into question the validity of conversation as a concept in general.
Yeah, see, we're questioning concepts that have interesting theorizing.
Mm-hmm.
He's going, can you even talk? Is talking even real?
Are words a thing?
Are words a thing? Yeah, dude, because that's one of that first times where we watched the dude's brain melt so fucking hard that he just grabbed literally anything he could and tried to accuse me of doing the same thing. And that's the first time I ever said, well, yeah, we're predators of predators, so we're apex predators. Mm-hmm. That's what we are. If I'm predatoring on the predator, then I'm the apex.
And we're so good at it, you could say we're legends.
Jesus Christ. Yes, you could. I don't know if you want to put legends tags on us yet, but the point I'm trying to make is that he tried everything he could even possibly fathom, argumentative or not, slippery slope or not, based in reality or not, to try and like get the heat off of him.
You know it's got to be important.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
So I'll go ahead and just go to my last question because, well, we're running out of time. Is this episode sponsored? No, it's not. Sponsored by Star Trek, oddly enough. They're trying to bring it back now. Let's see. So, an interesting fact, I'll go ahead and talk to everybody here. An interesting fact that you may not know, we've mentioned it before, but at this episode, after Predator Alex's brain fully melts, and we see it leak out, like dribble out of his ear, he actually, yeah, a little bit of gray matter. Gray is a dark color. Anyway, let's see, it didn't make the video, but after Predator Alex walked away, we actually drove down to see if we could find him, spot him, see what he did, because his car was still there. And much like the logic of everything he tried to say that whole night, he simply vanished. We could not find him after the fact, like just completely gone. Even drove down and around Cookout where he was supposed to be. So we have no idea where he went. His car was still there when we went back by.
Yeah, very weird. Because we're getting done with this thing, and he's like, I want to go get food. And we're like, bro, you don't have to walk. And he walked. And so we waited a little while. And then we followed behind him. And we went down. And hold on. We followed behind him because we had told him about Cookout or whatever. And we drove way past Cookout. Mm-hmm. Then we came back. We circled Cookout. We went through all the parking lots in Cookout. We went through the CarMax, like everything on this Jonestown Road, and couldn't find the guy. And I was just like, the fuck? I honestly, for a second, I don't know if this is in the edit, but I remember looking at you and going, is it possibly jumped off the bridge?
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Because the bridge is over 40, which is very, very busy. And I'm like, dude, is it possibly jumped? And so we came back. His car was still there. We waited a little bit, and then we are like, "Ah, fuck it." We left. So at that point, and for days later, we had, I mean, even really to this day, no idea what happened to fucking Alex Brisk. No idea. Javier.
Yeah.
No fucking clue. It was the weirdest shit, man. Dude disappeared.
Maybe much like his train of thought, he was going to another dimension.
Okay, see, I thought you were going to say much like Forrest Gump, he just started walking.
Well, you made that joke in the episode.
I actually might have made that joke.
You did make that joke in the episode.
Well, it's because it's still poignant. I don't remember, dude. I do not remember everything I say in these episodes. And that's episode 4.
Yeah,
it's like March.
Yeah,
no fucking way I remember what I said.
Well, I watched it twice recently while I was trying to write the questions.
Good. I'm very proud of you.
I know. I actually prepared.
Very proud of you. So yeah, the waitress, that Waffle House waitress was really cool with what we were doing. She was involved in answering our questions. I don't think there's a question in anybody's mind that he is who he says he was.
Oh yeah, no.
He was that guy,
He wished he wasn't, but he was.
I can't remember if it was on camera or not, but when I walk up behind him to come to you, you can see the whisper at. And I don't remember. We didn't have the glasses cam yet, so I don't think we got it.
You didn't catch it on camera, but we sure talked about it a lot to him as well. And
he
did not want to show us his phone.
He did not.
Shocking.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, so Alex, Mr. Smooth Talker himself, Mr. What's that? Who's that famous? They did a movie about him. It's like Roman times guy who always got all the ladies, and then they referenced a ladies' man as this guy, this famous dude, not Casablanca, but something like a Casanova maybe.
Maybe
like he's a
that is the thing.
Maybe a Casanova. Yeah, all that swag.
Oh, he was definitely traveling the multiverse.
Looking back on it, somebody said this in I think the comments in the video is that when he said he has a shake in the car, I asked him if he meant like a protein shake, but apparently shake is also a street term for weed, and I did not know that at the time. So he was basically telling us he'd smoked some weed, and I didn't know that until somebody commented on the episode.
I don't remember him saying he had a shake in the car. I remember him saying he had tried the shakes when you mentioned something about straight edge.
No, yeah, he said, no, just some shake. I said, are you straight edge? He goes, nah, just some shake.
No.
But just some shake.
His exact words were, I've tried the shakes. They're disgusting.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because somebody in the comments was like, shake is a
street. I have heard that before. Shake
I've never
is
heard
a street
that.
word, but the way it was phrased, I didn't think the weed.
Well, we thought he was high.
I thought he was misunderstanding. I know. I do think he was high or on something.
Something. Yeah.
Maybe he was huffing the fumes of his brain overheating. But I legitimately thought he just misunderstood what you were saying and calling him like a health nut or something. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. But see, I was just trying to figure out something about the guy. I still felt left feeling like, yeah, no, he was having a crisis of conscience, dude.
Yeah.
Like, who is this motherfucker? I don't know. Yeah, Brisk, man. Philosophical, metaphorical speaker who spoke in nothing that made sense. Literally, if he would have been at the Tower of Babel, he would have probably, fit in pretty well.
Why is everybody freaking out? It's the same as always.
Yeah, he needs to. He needs a translator if he's going to speak in those kind of tongues around us, please. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, dude, it was just a real creepy, even going back and like when I was editing it, man, there was like some creepy shit about him. Plus his zipper being undone. I never really mentioned it to him, I don't think. But he was definitely having some thought provoke. Anyway, so his address is set up for Raleigh. We found out he went to Garner High School, I believe. So if you know anybody in the area who went to Garner and you want to share with them that video to try to get a confirmation on the name, the name is confirmed via the license plate, but it could be a brother or dad. We don't know. I don't know how many people in the family in the Hispanic culture would name their kids Alejandro and him go by Alex. I don't know. So as far as we know, his name is Javier Alejandro Nieto. And then what was it? Valderes?
Valderes.
I'm not looking at it. Okay. So that's his real name. That's Alex Brisk, which was a weird name to choose, especially because I asked him to order sweet tea. Yeah, dude, he was just a weird one, man. He was just a weird fucking dude who had a lot to say about nothing and nothing to say about anything that mattered. And at the end of the day, he showed up to meet a child and wanted to have sexual relations with her. I believe he was talking about oral a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I remember I even censored it in the video with like...
You could play a drinking game with how many times the chicken sound played in that video.
Okay, so I was using a chicken sound for... Yeah, okay. when I was quoting him back his words. That's really one of the first ones where I was like, bro, you said this. And it was like, pow. Dude, you said this.
You did not let him forget it either.
Hell no, I didn't. And I think from there, we kind of got into this place of more comfort. I mean, that was our fourth one in a week.
Mhm.
That's when we really started to kind of see shit as it was. And as you guys know, the upcoming episodes just get more and more involved in the things that we were talking about. Better interviews a lot of times, sometimes quick, sometimes non-interviews, but we'll still fucking expose you. Luckily, I haven't ran back into Brisk that I'm aware of. So, is this the first one where Free said "oops grenade"? No, the first one was number 2.
Yep,
DJ Roger. We
Another
threw
one.
2 oops grenades at him actually during that interview. I might have cut him out because it was like I might have cut him out because somebody came into the comments and told me that was Dalia. I didn't know that. We got that from this dude that we worked with who was doing it all the time, and so then the whole store started doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had been from Dalia. I came up with the WoW rocket though. That I invented.
Wow.
I don't think I've used wow. I don't think I've done that one to a catch yet. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did the oops grenade a couple times. Then people started telling me who it was from. And so I was like, I don't want to bite something that somebody else has made up.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, surprise motherfucker, but that comes from Dexter like 12 years ago. Or actually longer.
It's enough
about
of a
12 years
meme that nobody's like, oh, did they make that up?
Yeah. But I made up the context in which we were using it is different. So that's why. And it was an accident the first time I did it.
But next time you need to have some fries.
But some fries, motherfucker. Yeah, some pies, motherfucker. I mean, whatever.
Priest all rise.
Hey, I've seen that one. Yeah, I know which meme you're talking about. The
Yeah.
black guy from Vine. He was great. The point is that I didn't want to intentionally bite what Dalia was doing, and so that's why I got rid of it. And we've just done other shit until it becomes our surprise motherfucker is kind of like us now. You know, we didn't invent the wheel, but we invented how we use that wheel in our catches.
We didn't invent the wheel, but we put it on the predator catching mobile.
Jesus. All right, Shaggy, calm it down now. All right, do we have any last questions that I may have missed before we get out of this on Alex Brisk?
I feel like we
not much more updating
addressed
on this
most
guy,
of them.
man. There's just
No.
not much more. We know he's the car's registered in Raleigh. We don't know how far he actually drove that night. I believe it was 30 or 45 minutes, so I believe he does live on the Burlington side of Greensboro. But other than that, we really don't know. We know he went to Gardner High School. We were told that by 2 people anonymously, and then of course when we found what we found, that all tracked. I kind of want to go message his family, but it's hard to confirm.
Sylvia did say at one point he isn't opportunistic pred. Yeah, this one I definitely feel was habitual. I think for him it's 100% a preference.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. He's one of those ones where I'm kind of 50-50 on, man. He's weird enough that possibly true. But like episode 5, much more obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Much more obvious. And so if I frame it against people like Gilroy, but Garland or Jason Hendrickson or Nick Goss or fucking Dylan Parrish, if I frame it against those people, I don't think he's as habitual as they are. He may have done it before, but I don't think it was something he did a lot. Oh, that's right. That's the first time I used Daisy.
Yeah.
And he wanted her because she was Hispanic. And I was talking to the girl who plays Daisy at the time. I was seeing her. And so I think I told him that. I might have taken out of the edit. But I was like, look, dude, that's the girl I'm talking to.
It was mentioned briefly in the video, but like
in the edit? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because he said something like nobody protects Hispanic people or nobody's looking after Hispanic people.
Your exact words were, I'm talking to her.
And I'm like, I'm talking to her. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I told him that. I think I even told Diego the same thing. Because Diego kind of broached the same one. And I'm like, dude, we're in the fucking Kernersville Walmart that she works at. She used to work there. So, I mean, we're not dating now, but, at that time we were talking. And so his argument that people don't protect brown people was what I had a problem with. especially because I was literally talking to the Hispanic girl that he was into.
Yeah.
Who had braces, adult braces. It's a thing.
I got
Anyway,
shorter.
good for you, bud. All right. Let's see. The way he said he can't find girls his age seems habitual. That's fair.
I
That's
don't know.
fair.
See, my thing is, I don't think it, like, the reason why I think he was habitual, and I don't think that he was, like, as opportunistic is probably part of it, I'll admit, but the reason why I think it was habitual is he may not even realize that it is.
Yeah.
But just how quickly he was okay with it, like it didn't even matter. And then how much, because if you watch the video, like I said, I watched it twice recently.
Mm-hmm.
That was really one of the first times he started defending his actions. When he started talking about how hard it was to find girls, like he started talking about the age, was the first time where like he almost completely forgot he was denying he was there. Was when he started trying to defend the actions, and then at a certain point he switched it to being talking in hypothetical. So there was this brief period of time before that he wasn't even talking in hypothetical, but then he's like, oh wait a minute, if this was happening.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah. If I said, oh, blah, 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 and he goes, no, if I were to do that, or if someone were to do that. You're right. Well, that was, more of his little flip floppy. Yeah.
Big floppy.
Not a big floppy for
Little
that
floppy.
guy. Little floppy. Dude, he was a real tiny guy. Not scary in the least, and Jin missed out on a good catch, in my opinion. Missed out on that extra camera angle. We could have had it. Anyway, I think we've pretty much covered this one. There's not really an update on this guy. Unfortunately, a lot of these
Just the
earlier
name.
ones, there's really no updates. Not yet, not a lot. We're working on some stuff. So, he doesn't live in Greensboro, so it won't be part of this task force that we're working on. But if we can actually find the guy,
Who knows? We may catch him. Maybe not in this universe, but the next.
Jesus Christ. I think we have a higher chance of traveling outside of Earth to other planets than we do of figuring out that we are in a multiverse. Although I think it's equally possible that we're in a multiverse or a matrix than not. I understand that people want to be on our team. We see it a lot. We're not expanding the team right now, Sylvia. Just bear with us. We got stuff going on. But when we start to do that, I promise you we will start looking into what there is.
Too much going on right now to worry about expanding.
Way too much, dude. Like, you guys don't understand that we're literally writing a whole second show right now. And now I'm also working on a third thing. A one-off pretty much, but a third thing. A thing. There's a thing. And there's things in the work that are going to make the NVF channel. I mean, we're going to be hitting you guys with so much fucking content. You guys don't even understand, dude. You guys don't even get what's coming.
Trust me, Silvio, we know. It's not a stream at all if you don't ask.
In
fact, if you stopped asking, we'd be like, well, where'd they go?
See, I feel bad because I see her ask it and I don't really ever address it because I don't want to continually let her down. But we're not expanding right now, man. I'm surprised that girl who was talking about taking her shirt off and dabbing last week isn't here. But I guess it maybe did kick out non-members. I thought it would keep them here.
I'm pretty sure it does.
It's weird. I figured as long as they don't refresh, they'll be all right. Oops. All right. Well, that's all I got for now, man. You got anything else?
Nope.
Check us out.
All right, my friends, my MDF supporters, we really love and appreciate everything you guys have done. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the mind of Javier, a.k.a. Alex, a.k.a. Brisk. I'm not going to say all 19 of his names. But we appreciate you hanging out with us, asking your questions. We love you all. And remember, Brisk may not have gotten arrested this time, but we'll keep our eyes out for him and others like him. And for that, our force is never too minor.